Mind equals blown.
This is the plug.
We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, and this past weekend it all finally went down in Vegas for the 3rd annual Monster Energy Cup. Right, so main event number 1. Let's just forget about the 17 million restarts. When the gates finally did drop, surprise, surprise, we've got Ryan Dungey and Ryan Villopoto up front running the show as per usual. It was the same race we've been used to watching for the past 3 years, really. Oh, but this is the Monster Cup, and not all is as it seems. In my opinion, this race possesses the single greatest moment in Supercross racing history. That moment right there. The moment when Villopoto had, I assume, the utmost pleasure in telling Dungey that he in fact had not won the race and that he forgot to use the obligatory Joker lane. A moment of sheer disbelief, despair, embarrassment on Dungey's behalf, and a moment of utmost hilarity on everyone else's behalf. I'm not taking a dig at Dungey, but I think it's just that no one could quite believe what had just happened. Looking back at it now, it's easy to understand how it did happen. Dungey wasn't close enough to see RV enter the lane, and he was so focused on making that pass and winning that he was just in the zone. He had the blinkers on. He just straight up forgot. A complete and utter cock-up. A brain fart, if you will. Main event race number 2. The best race of the season? Certainly one of the best Supercross races of the year, and right up there with the Rocks and Tomac battle from the Nations. It was awesome to see the Bubba of old back on form doing what he does best, blowing minds. When he hit that quad after the start straight for the first time, I nearly lost it. It was a feat that only he could achieve. Until the next lap when Ryan Villopoto did it. And it was at this point when I did, in fact, lose my freaking mind. The race was well and truly on. Block passes, brake checks, insanely dirty scrubs. It took me back to 09. The days when Reed and Stu were going at it like this week in, week out. It was awesome. I think I lost my mind and then found it again and then lost it again a couple more times throughout that battle. But I think it's safe to say that James had Ryan's number on Saturday night. And in my opinion, this frustrated Ryan Villopoto. He's not been used to this after the past few seasons, especially from James. This allowed Stewart to get inside Ryan's head. And if I hadn't lost it enough yet on Saturday night, I think I lost my mind for good on the final lap of that second main event. I literally just sat there with my chin on the floor. Jaw dropped, gobsmacked, speechless, whatever you want to call it. Oh, they didn't take the Joker lane. Both Stewart and Villopoto needed to take the Joker lane on the last lap, otherwise they would suffer the same fate as Dungey in the first race. And Villopoto missed it. I couldn't believe it. Ralph Shaheen, Jeff Emig, Ricky Carmichael, they couldn't believe it either. The entire stadium could not believe it. Insanity. In my mind, there's 2 explanations for this. Number 1, looking at Villopoto's GoPro footage, he was rocketing around the sweeper before the Joker lane, and it looked like he wanted to try and force his bike into the tight Joker lane turn, but he was just carrying so much momentum that he just shot straight past it and carried on up the start straight. But the GoPro doesn't show what was going on inside Villopoto's head. This leads me on to explanation number 2. RV had a meltdown. Stewart had gotten inside his head and frustrated Villopoto to the point where he just missed the Joker lane on purpose just to get to the front. Those were literally my first words immediately after I saw this. Stewart's gotten in his head. And if I wasn't already gobsmacked enough, if my mind wasn't already lost enough, the camera switches to see Villopoto hitting the deck in a big way on that huge gnarly quad that only he and James were hitting. At this point, my mind was already lost. My jaw already dropped. And my gob already smacked. I think my brain quite literally just melted. And I think this crash is just further proof of how James was inside Villopoto's head. It was a nasty one, for sure. Initially, I thought he'd broken a leg or something, but it was good to see that he got back up on his own 2 feet. Let's just hope that he's not too badly injured and that he's fully fit and ready for Anaheim 1. So that's 2 years in a row now. 2 years in a row that Ryan Villopoto has failed to make it past the second main event. He won the Monster Million in 2011, and in both 2012 and 2013, he crashed out of the event in a big way. What if it's cursed? The curse of the Monster Million. Interesting. I guess we'll see if he can break the curse next year. Right, so let's move on to main event number 3, the final race. And the whole shot goes to Kenny Roczen. What did I tell you? I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, but this could be the last piece in Roczen's puzzle. His competition better watch out. I'm not calling him to win any 450 championships in his rookie season, but he's definitely going to be in the mix. I'm looking at the 2 450 rookies to come along and make an immediate splash. I reckon both Tomac and Roczen could cause Ryan Villopoto some problems in terms of claiming the million. At this point in the night, Kenny was actually leading the event and he had his fingertips on that $100,000. And he was mixing up with James Stewart, giving him a decent race. It was a great ride from Kenny and exactly what I expected him to do. However, in the end, the Joker lane came into play once again for one last time. The top 4 all opting to take slightly different strategies, and it worked for Dungey and Tomac anyway. They was able to pass Roczen on the last lap while he was in the Joker lane. I guess that's a little bit of redemption for Dungey, using the Joker lane to his advantage, you know, after his brain fart in race 1. So, in the end, the one man in motocross that doesn't particularly need an extra 100 grand added to his bank account walks away with the win. Congrats, James Stewart. Ryan Dungey takes his customary 2nd place, and Ken Roczen proves me right, being right in the mix with a 3rd place and showing some promise for next season. Oh yeah, and all 3 riders on the Monster Energy Cup podium were Red Bull athletes. I think Red Bull won. I bet Monster loved that. So, the Joker lane was the place that provided most of the drama and most of the shocks this weekend. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you want to see the lane at more Supercross events? Or do you despise the lane and want to see it banished forever? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I've been Toofast Max, this has been The Plug, and if you've enjoyed this week's show, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. And go check out dirtbikerider.com for all of your latest motocross news. And finally, if you like what you've seen and you want to see more, click right here to see more.